Part of what we're doing here is to be able to turn over some of those stones and reveal what's underneath.
Well, here's an example. Literature really underwent a shift when Hemingway wrote, because that very short, terse style with minimal stuff on the page that just went straight to the point
Compact, yes.
became very admired. And that's still very much sort of the law of the land in literature these days. Let's make it simple, let's go straight to the pithy point, and let's not show anything extra. It's cutting off many avenues if you look at that's the only way to write.
Yeah.
I don't write like that. I bring many, many areas to bear. I bring my visual areas, I bring my physical experience, I bring what it was like to do that to bear. So it takes more words on the page, and the concepts I'm working with are far more complex than...
Extrapolate on that.
Yeah, this guy's got a problem, he goes and slams that out of the
Well,
way, he tries to
no.
solve it 6 ways, hits the wall, and oh, here's the solution. I'm writing dimensional. The solution isn't the solution all the time, and the solution changes in the angle of view, so it's spherical here. People coming to my work expect that terse. Give me the point. Get to the point. Eliminate all the subtleties. Just get to the point.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to work with my work at all. You got to kick back and let the work take you, and then let the work bring forward out of you what you can see, because it has been proven that when you slow down your mind, slow down your thinking, open focus again, relax, eliminate the excessive thinking, more things can rise to the surface. When you slow down, more synapses fire between this event and that event. Your brain can create a bigger picture, a more intense picture, a more intense emotional picture. So when you read my work, this style is not going to let you skim the page and pick out the points you need to do.
Right.
You have to read every word. And the power of the experience that you create out of the synergy between that and the word is going to absolutely stay with you, because it's going to wake something in you that's yours, and you're going to know it's yours. And 20 years later, you're going to think about that book because it touched something, if you let it. But if you won't allow that, it isn't going to work.
Do you think then that perhaps each individual's life experience and their reality also changes how they see the book? How they
Yes.
read it? Yes.
In 2 ways. I get letters
Yeah,
from
tell me about that. That's,
Well, one person wrote me and said, I can never look at a leaf that fell off a tree the same way ever again. So obviously some experience of mine awakened something in them.
right.
They read my book, Hell's Chasm, and say, I never can look at an animal the same way again, because they saw the individuality that I work with every day, and it came alive to them. Some people don't need that. They see something else. A person who is a neuroscientist just made an observation about my work last week. She said she started reading a book as a reviewer, and she read to a certain point and said, suddenly the story started to flow and it started to move really fast. And when I got to the end of the book, I said, she must have simplified her writing style. And I went back to the beginning and read it, and she said, no, my brain changed. My brain changed in the course of reading this book. So yeah, that, I think on multiple synergistic levels, she allowed that to happen. By the end of the book, she was flowing right through multiple synergistic levels of awareness, and it did change her brain. So if the book can do that for you and bring out in you an awareness of more levels within yourself, that's amazing. I feel like I'm driven to record, but my experience isn't necessarily what's going to do it for you, but the idea that I have developed myself on many levels, and maybe a piece of that can inspire somebody else, that's pretty cool, because I did it for the sheer enjoyment and fun of it, exploration of it.
Well, it seems you've been the one talking about the malleability of the brain, that the brain can be changed and that you can still learn and learn and learn and learn.
That's proved. It's
Well,
proved.
that's exactly what you're talking
Just
about
as
right now,
quantum
is the
physics has proved
malleability.
that the reality bears on the point of observation, and when you remove the observing and measuring device, the photographic picture shows a blurred image, not a single point. You're a single point, I'm a single point. Between the two of us, we've now made more images. The quantum shows that there's more perception present than we're able to accept. And so if I'm saying, yeah, I'm sort of writing on the quantum, but I'm still using the structure of story. There are still problems that get solved. There are still, I'm working with a very linear structure, but it's not linear. It's not a linear myth that I'm trying to create. So do I feel challenged by it? Tremendously. Do I feel frustrated that the terse, eliminative sentence is what's at right now? Yeah, I feel frustrated, but I think I'm frustrated with many people's worldview right now, or what I see oversimplified in the news, that oversimplification.
Right.
Yeah, there is a simple solution if you could only have the vision to see the right one. But when you don't have the vision, you've got to be flexible enough to bounce off many points of view and accept them all as irreconcilable difference, but we're stronger because of those differences. We don't eliminate them to make that this to that, punch.
Right.
The punchline solution is too scary for me.
I think, when I read, I don't want to interject too much myself. When I'm reading somebody who is jumping through the book in different points, different time frames, I have an easier time following a story if it is excuse the term, linear progression, or chronological progression. I have trouble when books like Catch-22, Kurt Vonnegut, when he was moving back and forth.
Kurt's pretty fluid, yeah.
Yeah, and he's going back and forth and jumping to different points in his life. And I'm going.
I have a time frame, so yeah.
No,
I said I'm working in traditional.
Yeah, I was just saying that's about the only thing that throws me.
Yeah.
In reading is measures like that, and there are a number of people.
I wasn't referring to jumping around time frames. In the huge work that I mentioned, it's 9 volumes, and truly in most of the small books and even the short stories, I never flash back to the past or never carry the action 6 months and then you start 6 months early and come up start. I never do that.
Right.
I might flash back in the past briefly in a character's memory, but it's brief. Everything, and this is hard when you're talking fantasy and you're moving,
right.
You're moving logistics, okay? Everything happens simultaneously or forward. Where I jump around is not in the time frame, it's in the perception of the action. In the same time frame, because the only truth I know is we only have the present moment. We don't have tomorrow and we don't have yesterday.
No, we only have the moment, yes.
Our perception of yesterday changes according to who we are now. And our perception of where we want to go changes according to who we are now. So my stories do progress through a time frame. But where they access that dimensionality is always off the present. Because that's how we live, but people forget it.
Right.
The power to move the future is now. The power to move yesterday is now. What we thought about yesterday is a value. It isn't the event anymore, it's a value. So where did you leave the value? This event happened and it feels like yesterday and you're still angry about it. Why? Because you left a value in that event.
Right.
That value is now. And that emotional reaction is now. Change the value.
Change the value of it and then you can move forward, yes.
So the past is a sequence of values. And the future is a projected sequence of values. So, no, I don't like books that jump all over the place and movies that do that either. There have been a number of them where you had to piece together and you didn't know what time frame you were in. We're in a time frame in this reality. But the values are in the now.
Right.
And that's where
And
I
it's
say
changed by where you are.
there's a dimensionality
Yeah.
to the values. And when you change your values in life, you're
So
going
you
to
haven't
see
lost me.
different
Not
stuff.
yet.
I don't think so.